Good afternoon. Fade to black breaking news for this Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. I'm Jimmy Church. This is all of the news that you need. Let's start with OTD on this day in history. 1876, a big one. 29-year-old Alexander Graham Bell receives a patent for his revolutionary new invention, the telephone. 29 years old. 1876. That's nuts. Let's get to your Fader fact today. Fader fact. Over the course of an average lifetime, most people will spend an entire year sitting on the toilet. U.S. citizens, probably 2 or 3. That is your Fader fact. Let's get to the breaking news. Lots of breaking news today that I get to do without my glasses. Breaking news: recovered UFO technology, quote, may be being reverse engineered right now, but we don't understand how it functions, according to a U.S. representative. That's right. Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett told Newsweek that he believed, and I'm quoting here, we have recovered a craft at some point and possible beings. I think that a lot of what's being reverse engineered right now, but we just don't understand it, end quote. And then we have Louisiana Senator John Kennedy said, following a classified briefing on the objects last month, it was, and I quote, clear to me this is not a recent phenomenon. Lock your doors tonight, end quote. That was to reporters. Now, this has come not just from political spheres, but also from director Steven Spielberg, who suggested to Stephen Colbert last week that, and I quote, it's mathematically impossible that we are the only intelligent species in the cosmos. I think that what has been coming out recently is fascinating, end quote. And then we have this. Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the head of the Pentagon's UFO Investigative Unit, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, otherwise known as AARO, and Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, claim in a new research paper that alien, quote, motherships could be flying through our solar system. In the paper published on March 1st, Kirkpatrick and Loeb wrote, and I'm quoting again, an artificial interstellar object could potentially be a parent craft that releases many small probes during its close passage to Earth, an operational construct not too dissimilar from NASA missions, end quote. They wrote that current sky scanning telescopes, such as the James Webb Space Telescope, would miss such small objects, whereas our deep space radars and space fence could pick up meter-long incoming UFOs up to 36,000 kilometers in the air, and we therefore should keep an eye out for them, end quote. I'm quoting again. Such objects could also become optically detectable as they get close to Earth, especially if they create a fireball as a result of their friction with air, end quote. Loeb says that his team at Harvard, where he now serves as director of the Institute for Theory and Computation, is currently using large campus telescopes to scan the skies for such probes or other UFOs, and are planning to set up a second telescope in the coming months as part of his Galileo project. Wow. And I've got more space news. That NASA spacecraft that I was reporting on last week is back to normal after weeks of troubles in space. NASA's Interstellar Boundary Explorer, otherwise known as IBEX, allowed controllers to reset the computer on March 2nd. NASA officials announced everything yesterday, ending 3 weeks of issues in trying to reach the spacecraft. The mission team did a fire code reset, or external reset of the spacecraft, allowing NASA to regain control of the unresponsive craft a full 2 days before IBEX was scheduled to do an autonomous reset and power cycle over the weekend. The craft has spent 15 years in space, continuing work more than a decade past when its prime mission ended back in 2011. Well, Florida beaches are filling up with dead fish, and coastal air is burning people's eyes, noses, and throats. And it's all because of a tiny organism, red tide, a problem that has sporadically plagued Florida's Gulf Coast water for years. Well, it's back. Red tide is a toxic algae. It's a toxic algae bloom that originates dozens of miles offshore, where there are high amounts of the algae known as Carinea brevis. On Friday, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission issued a status update for red tide conditions, saying that the organism was found in 115 samples along the state's west coast. If those toxins, by the way, are ingested by land animals like your pets eating dead fish, right? They can also contain a serious and cause serious illness and death. All of this according to Florida's Department of Health. All right. Toblerone. I love Toblerone, by the way. I do. Those little pyramids, break them apart, right? Well, Toblerone chocolate packaging will no longer feature Switzerland's iconic Matterhorn Mountain as its U.S. owner, Mondelez, moves production to Slovakia later this year. The company will also remove a reference to Toblerone being Swiss chocolate. Instead of declaring it, they're just going to say it was established in Switzerland in 1908. It's due to Swiss legislation in force since 2017, which requires any product using Swissness to advertise a product or service to meet a set of origin criteria. Milk-based products must be made exclusively in the country. Lawmakers say it's a way to protect the prestige associated with Swiss-made products. Marks of Swissness can include the flag, references to cities such as Geneva, or in this case, the famed mountain in the Alps known for its really cool pyramid shape. That's right, Toblerone. It's still going to taste Swiss. It's going to have its Swissness. And finally, I'll leave you with this. Utah wants you to eat frogs. That's right. The Utah Department of Natural Resources is asking residents to eat bullfrogs. The DNR is promoting bullfrog catching to help contain the amphibians, which have taken over Utah's ponds and marshes. You see, bullfrogs are invasive in Utah and are outcompeting other species like the endangered boreal toad. Yes, bullfrogs eat other frogs. 3 species, to be exact. 3 species of native frogs that are threatened or struggling to repopulate in Utah. So, online, Utah, the state, has provided you a detailed recipe for breaded frog legs. On their website, they say they taste like chicken, but slightly chewier. And that's your Fade to Black breaking news for this Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. This is indeed all of the news that you need. Fade to Black breaking news is produced by Renee Newman. I am Jimmy Church. Go Backley Tappy.